But little did I know it was going to be the worst year of my whole college career. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be about my college experience since it is back to school time, and even though for me back to school means online, I think now that I'm going to be a 5th year college student, I would like to take this time to reflect on the past 4 years of my life and see what my 5th year has to offer for me. If you like the content in this video, do not forget to give it a thumbs up, and also don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you can be part of the Grape Gang. Also hit the bell for notifications so you know every time when I upload. So let's get started with the video. I started college in August of 2016, and I went to Ohio University for my freshman year of college. And the application process was actually very easy because I only applied to that school and OSU Maine, Ohio State University, where I got promptly denied. And so the fact that I was able to get into Ohio University with an ACT score of 20 sold me. So after fighting about it the whole year with my parents, because my parents are immigrant parents, so the idea of me staying on campus for them was really hard, especially when all of my siblings stayed home for college. So I broke the mold and I was able to stay on the Athens campus and packed up my sister's Mitsubishi and we went to Athens. And I remember the drive down was very, very exciting. I honestly never lived outside of the Columbus area since I moved to Ohio, and this is the first time I was going to be in the new area by myself, and I was very excited for that change. I was very excited for the new people I was going to meet, hopefully do some clubs. I was so excited, and I never really toured OU. I honestly just applied from the website, and honestly the website design's great because I was like, this school just seems like it's for me. Like, it only had 20,000 students. It was like its own small town. I think it just fit me. It was the perfect place for me. And so we ended up going, and I was living in Hoover House, which is on South Green, and Ohio University has like their different areas. So there was like West Green, South Green, East Green, or North Green, and then College Green, which is like all the admin buildings and all the historical buildings. And I lived in a mod style building. So basically on the floor that I lived in, there was mod A and then mod B, and I lived in mod B, and it was a co-ed floor. And in my specific mod, I only shared a bathroom with 7 other girls, and I lived in a hallway with 5 other girls, and we all had our own rooms, and then there was a double right next to the common room. And then the other 2 hallways was guys, and they also either had their own single room and like 2 rooms that had like doubles. So I remember meeting the girls, and we clicked instantly. Like, they were a good group of girls. I loved them. They were really good. Like, it was a really good group to meet on the first time. And we all got dinner at Shively Hall the first day we all moved in. And some like highlights of my OU experience is that, for one, I did not get homesick at all. I barely got homesick. Honestly, for the first like 2 weeks, I didn't call my friends back home. I barely called my family. I was really focusing on like my self-discovery journey of finding new, clubs to join, and I was in, I had classes, and I pretty much, some days I was in class like all afternoon. Like, I took band, psychology, English, human anatomy. I'm pretty sure it was anatomy. And there was another class I just can't remember. Oh yeah, in my university class, so like the freshman class. And I remember, like, since I was undecided in my freshman year, the university class that I took that class with like the same group of students. So for my psychology and my English class, a good chunk of them were in those classes. And I'm not gonna lie, they were kind of annoying. They were very annoying, and they kind of felt like they were kind of better than, like, I don't want to say me, but they just felt like they're just like had this I'm better than anyone vibe. And it was just kind of like, we're all in the same boat, dude. Like, chill out. And they were just like very immature, and I I can't deal with that. Immaturity is not fun. And some of my classes were pretty moderately, you know, they're not bad. My psychology class was probably the worst because my teacher was a psychologist, but the class was structured around the psychology book, and he did not mention the book once in class, not even one time. So all the tests that we had were through the psychology book, so we had to honestly in our own time like look up the vocabulary, read the chapters, and try and get our own like vibe on it, and that was kind of frustrating. Is there any social things that happened? Oh, I went to a frat party and I left after 15 minutes because if you call standing around listening to music a party, then y'all need to redefine your definition, because that's what it was. I got there at 9:30 and promptly left at 9:45 and was back in my room by 10 o'clock. It was honestly kind of sad. It was a very sad time. It was bad. I mean, some of my roommates smoked weed that night, but I'm just like, you know. Another big highlight of my OU years was I worked at the Ohio University Food Services, which basically they made all the food for all the campuses and every dining hall, and I worked in the retail part, which basically worked on all packaged foods, so burritos, wraps, salads, shakers, stuff like that. And that group of people was amazing. I loved them. They were so funny. We would play music. We would just have the greatest vibe. I love them too. That was a great time working there. But then after winter break, the spring semester came, and I was just like, man, like I really want to stay at school. And I remember talking to my mom, like, you know, I'm about to enter my sophomore year of college, and most of the people in college signed their lease to live off campus for their junior year during their sophomore year. And my mom had the biggest issue with that. She did not like that at all. She's like, you're not going to live on your own. I'm just like, yeah, but mom, I have to sign this lease, you know, beforehand. And she's just like, that's not going to happen. And I'm just kind of like, but I can get a job. I can do this. She's like, no, you should really come home. And there's a part of me that felt bad because my mom was paying like so much money out of pocket when she couldn't afford it. And, you know, there's a part of me that honestly felt bad because my mom was like suffering so much while I'm at school. But also I kind of felt I felt like I was in an environment where I can focus on myself and meet new people and experience these things without any backlash or any like resistance. And my mother was basically telling me like, yeah, like I can't afford this, or, you know, and I even told her, I was like, I'll take loans out, I'll do this, I'll do that. She's like, no, like you should be at home anyway. You should just stay at home. And it was really frustrating because towards the end of my freshman year, I had to make the decision and I left OU. And honestly, it's probably one of the biggest decisions I have made, and probably the worst decisions, because to this day, 5 years later, I regret it. I regret it immensely. I wish I gave myself the second chance my sophomore year to really dig in on what I want, you know, and actually try out for the 110, getting into the theater scene, you know, even like doing like more arts, like painting classes or like career classes, you know. And I wish I gave myself that chance, and it was really sucky, and it still kind of sucks because I feel like from that point on I felt lost in college. Like in high school I was very like assured of myself. I did a lot during high school, but then when I got to college I didn't really do anything. Like honestly, I'm a 5th year student and my whole last year of college is gonna be online, and it's just like your college years were the like best of your life, and I'm just like, honestly, they're pretty mediocre. I didn't do anything. I didn't join any sorority. I barely joined any organizations. I went to class and then left. And that honestly kind of makes me upset, like for myself, because I wanted so much more. But then also, when you have to work, it's hard to make time to do anything else on campus because the times you're working, all these activities are going on. And that has a whole other discussion about the privilege to not even go to college and live on campus, but just the privilege to actually do all these other activities, because it's a privilege. You don't like, I'd never had time because I had to work and I had bills to pay, so I cannot work. And exchange for a college experience. Like, that wasn't an option. And we all know college is a scam. College is the biggest scam. But it just really sucks. It just sucks. That was a great time working there. And even just like Ohio University in the spring and the fall, like it was just a beautiful university. Green all the time, grass growing, flowers. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I probably saw a deer once a week just going to work because it was on the other side of campus, so I walked a lot. And it was just nice seeing all these animals, and even just the vibe, like just going out to the volleyball courts, going out to eat, like going to Court Street, going to get Block Street bagels, which I heard closed down, which makes me really sad. But it's just like Ohio University is a really good school, and the academics is good too. Like, it's a solid school. I would consider like a B plus. And I just wish I stayed. And so I ended up transferring to Ohio Dominican University in Columbus. That's where my stepsister went, and she said it's a great school. You're gonna have a fun time. We're gonna be band together. It's gonna be great. I said, you know what? I'm excited. You know, it's gonna be a new change. I'm ready for it. Little did I know it was gonna be the worst year of my whole college career. So Ohio Dominican was going to Ohio Dominican University was easily the worst decision I've ever made. It was a complete waste of money and waste of time. And just thinking about it, it makes me want to cringe, because I transferred there, and it's a predominantly, you know, Christian or Catholic, I think it's Catholic, like, university. And I always told myself, like, I wouldn't really go to those type of establishments because I'm still trying to work through my relationship with God. And I'm not religious, so it's just like, I don't know why I chose that school. And honestly, just looking back, like there's honestly nothing going for this school. Like, my sister graduated, and she had a great time at that school. That was her school. She did a sorority, she did band, she did all these different things. The one year I went, there was no theater group to join. Band was abysmal. The only thing saving this school are the academics. I have probably never felt more challenged when it comes to my studies when I was at that school, because I was taking a lot of classes like American politics and philosophy and geography, like, and geopolitics, and I was like thinking about those things. And honestly, this school was so small compared to OU. Like, the max students was 1,200, and that's how many people were in my high school. So going from a school that's 20,000 people to barely 1,300 people was a big change. And I literally had the same 3 teachers for like 3 of my classes. So it was just a thing where it was just like, I don't know why I went there. I don't know why I just transferred to OSU earlier, because it was just a complete waste of my time. Like, band was really bad. Like, there was barely 30 people in the band, and 14 of those people were percussion. So the instrumentation sucked, and we were playing these pieces that just were impossible for any of us to do, because we're all non-majors. I don't think any of us was even a music major. So it was just a thing where it's like, I get having goals, and I get having like the university band vibe, but like, my dude was like, we were playing Coat of Arms. Like, that piece is not easy. We played another piece that was just like, and the instrumentation was just so bad, and every single time that we stopped to like do corrections and stuff, people would talk, and it was the most annoying thing. And I mean, for any high schooler watching, if you are that one person that actually doesn't talk during band, and if you think, are people annoying in band in a college? And the answer is yes. They're annoying. They are immature, and they don't consider everyone else's like time for learning, and it's so frustrating because it should not be like that, and it is, and it's so frustrating. So it was really hard to go to band. Like, I would skip band, and I never skip band because I love band. I love playing in an ensemble. I miss that so much. But I would skip because I'm just like, I'm not wasting my time. Like, it was not fun. I did not like Ohio Dominican. Like, I honestly, to think about any standout moments from Ohio Dominican, I can't even think of anything, because it was that bad. Like, I did Hairspray. I was in a production of Hairspray with my stepsister and my cousin, but it wasn't through the school. It was through like the Columbus Park and Recs department. And that was fun. I was part of the Dynamites, and I mean, I love Hairspray. Even though it's pretty much a very problematic and white savior show, I do like Hairspray. And that was a fun highlight of my sophomore year. I'm really trying, I can't think of anything else because it was bad. It was that bad. So, at that point in my sophomore year, I declared a major. I was a social studies second education major. So I was pretty much majoring to be a social studies teacher. And I love history. I love history. My boyfriend loves history a lot more. But I love history. So, I remember just like being in class and like, you know, and then the one history class, honestly, I aced it because I knew all the answers. I did all the readings and everything was so easy. And there was like 7 people, there was 40 people in my class, 7 people talked, and I was 3 of those people. And it was just, I was a star student, and I have no problem with it because I know I'm smart. I love history. It's straight memorization. And if you genuinely like it, then it's going to be easier for you. But if you don't, it's going to be like the worst. And I remember, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be a teacher. This is what I want to do. I love history, Then Parkland happened. And my complete perspective changed. The school shootings that was happening, especially in high schools, were very, very high. But from that point, the rest of the year, I could not stay still in class. I think it was probably the source of my like anxiety, like my start of anxiety, because just sitting in class thinking, oh my god, someone's gonna come in and shoot up the school, and I shouldn't have to go into school thinking about that. And our security wasn't really the best at ODU. It was not. And the school was very old, very creaky. So, like, if I heard a certain noise, I would literally get up and leave the classroom and then go to the bathroom and sit for, like, a couple minutes and then go back. And I constantly was looking at the door. And I was so nervous. Do I really want to go teach at a high school and live like that? Do I really want to have a gun in my classroom to protect myself from potentially a student? Do I want to live with that? And I'm like, no, I do not. I do not want to do that. So from that moment on, I knew I was definitely going to change my major. I'm like, I'm not going to be a teacher anymore. That's not going to be it. And it was like, what do I really want to do? And then I remember that at that point in time, I discovered film YouTube. I watched a lot of video essays about film, composition of film, specific film essays about like the MCU or X-Men, or, you know, small films like Francis Ha, or directors like Christopher Nolan, and just all that different thing about film. And for me, I'm a movie and a TV person. I've always been a TV and movie person. Growing up, I was constantly watching TV, constantly catching up with new TVs, new films coming out on like monthly. And I would always talk to people about it. I'm just like, oh my god, are you watching this? And I'm like, no, I don't have time. I'm just like, they're like, oh, how do you have time, Joe? I said, I make time. TV time is for me. And I really thought, I'm like, well, you know, I never thought about being a filmmaker. But at that point, I'm just like, well, I watch TV all the time. I watch, you know, like movies, and I love hearing people's opinions about it. I love cinematography. I love like the composition of films. I love all of that. I love to be in it, you know? So from there, I decided to transfer to Ohio State because that was the only option I had left, and I had no other choice. That was it for me. And I changed my major to film studies. And then my junior year to now, I have been at Ohio State. So that's how my sophomore year went. It was really bad. It was bad, unmemorable. Well, it was memorable of being bad. And I moved on to Ohio State for my junior and senior, and now my 5th year. I think, honestly, it was the best. It was a good decision. ODU was bad. I don't know why I went there. Okay, we're done. We're moving on to my junior and senior year now. Now I'm going to combine my junior and my senior years at OSU because, again, I don't really do much. I don't do much because I have to work all the time. And it's also just another frustrating thing about college. It's just, you know, when I transferred, I was commuting to school. So I live about 30 minutes away from OSU, so I'm driving there every single day. And I'm pretty much there like all day. And I have classes all day. And it was just, I don't want to say it was even a bad transition, because again, going from a 20K student school to a 13K student school to a 60K student school was a lot. Honestly, it wasn't that much of a transition because I already went to OU, which was a lot of people, and OSU is so spread out. Like, I barely run into people, honestly. I barely ran into them. So starting OSU, I declared as a film studies major, and I started taking a whole bunch of film studies classes, like Intro to Film Studies, Intro to World Studies, Modern World Studies, Classic French Cinema, and Chinese film, and screenwriting. And screenwriting is my focus for my film studies degree. And I'm so glad I made the change for myself, because I'm actually in something that I know I'm good at. When I'm in class and I'm analyzing these scenes, I'm talking to people who are not film studies majors, just like, yeah, I kind of thought it was like this. I'm like, oh, well, I thought it was like this because of the way that was framed. When you think about it, you have the context from these other scenes, and da-da-da-da, and they're just like, I never thought about that. And I'm just like, yeah, it's the little things. Sometimes it's not really anything, but sometimes it's the littlest thing. So I knew I made the right decision to switch to my film studies major, and I also declared as a musical theater minor. But as I go into my 5th year, I decided to not continue with that because I can't really do any dance classes in the middle of the pandemic. It's not possible. So I pretty much literally have just honestly been going to class and then going home. The only thing I really have done these last couple of years at OSU is that I participated in a lab series play. And basically the way that the lab series work out at the Drake Union at OSU is that students write their own productions and then they put it on in this little room, and I was a part of that. I was the assistant stage manager, and I also was in it. So that was actually a fun thing to do. And like, as I love theater. Like, I love theater just as much as I love movies and TV. I love theater so much. I love performing in theater. I have started to write my own play. During this time, I've wrote my own short films. I've written 4 short films, and I've written a full feature length so far. And I guess one of the biggest things coming out of OSU is the opportunity for writing. I have become more of a writer for myself, and especially with YouTube, I do write all of my scripts. So it has helped me beneficially a lot. Helped me a lot. And the opportunities I've gotten from OSU has been great. I honestly didn't get my internship from there, but I recently finished an internship with a nonprofit organization that has to do with re-entry from prison and jail. And I'm so glad I got the internship when I did. It really has helped me when it comes to editing and filming and just marketing as a whole. And it made me realize that maybe I should have minored in communications instead of musical theater. But nonetheless, I'm so glad I had the opportunity. OSU has been a really pretty good school. Like, it's really decently sized. It's like right on High Street, so I can literally go to any restaurant I want. The Columbus Library is down the street. I mean, I don't know what else to say about OSU. It's the Ohio State University, and I mean, at this point, we're just only known about Buckeyes. But I mean, that's really it. Thank you so much for everyone for watching my video today. I hope my college experience was nice to hear, my weird story times, and I hope to do college themed videos in the future with this channel. And thank you so much for the support, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!